So it's pretty awesome. Hopefully she likes women's basketball. She should stay for the game tomorrow. How about that? Caitlin Clark began trending because of Angel Reese pissing off Swifties. Why?
Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese? Whose side are you on? Before you answer, let me drop some truth bombs that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about this rivalry. It's not just about who's the better player anymore. We're talking about a full-on culture war. On one side, we've got Clark, the golden girl of basketball backed by Taylor Swift's massive fan base. On the other, there's Reese, the bold and brash champion fighting to stay in the spotlight. But here's the kicker. The way they're handling their fame could change women's basketball forever. Ready to see who's really winning this game off the court? Alright, let's rewind to September 2023. Caitlin Clark's just chilling, probably thinking about her next game when she decides to drop a tweet. But this isn't just any tweet. She's welcoming Taylor Swift to the Chiefs' kingdom. No big deal, right?
And you see here Caitlin Clark talking about possibly Taylor Swift going to watch her in the final, saying, I'm going to Taylor Swift in June. Because now the Swifties have become Caitlin Clark fans.
Wrong. You know what's wild? This one little tweet blew up the entire internet. Seriously, it was like throwing a match into a gasoline-soaked room. Swifties, who probably couldn't tell a basketball from a volleyball before, suddenly became obsessed with women's basketball. It was like they collectively decided, hey, if Taylor's watching, we're watching too. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is doing her thing, crushing it on the court, probably not even thinking about Taylor Swift or pop music or any of that stuff. She's focused on her game, her fans, her career. But then, bam! Out of nowhere, Swifties start flooding Clark's social media. They're hyping her up like she's the next big pop star, not just a basketball player. Clark's follower count, it went through the roof. We're talking millions of new followers in just a few days. It was like watching one of those time-lapse videos where a plant grows in seconds. Except instead of a plant, it was Clark's fame exploding right before our eyes. But here's the thing, this wasn't just about Clark getting more famous. This tweet, this one little tweet, changed everything.
So it's pretty awesome. Hopefully she likes women's basketball. She should stay for the game tomorrow. How about that? Caitlin Clark began trending because of Angel Reese pissing off Swifties. Why?
It was like Clark accidentally discovered a secret formula for merging two massive fan bases. Basketball fans and Swifties suddenly became this unstoppable force. You know what's even crazier? This whole situation created this weird ripple effect. Suddenly people who never cared about women's basketball were tuning into games. They were learning player stats, team histories, all because of this Taylor Swift connection. It was like Clark had unlocked this hidden level of fandom that nobody knew existed. And poor Angel Reese, she's watching all this go down, probably thinking, what just happened? One minute, she's the talk of the town. The next, she's competing with not just Clark, but the entire Swiftie army. Talk about a game changer? Game changer.
If you guys thought the actual fans of Caitlin Clark were bad, oh, the Swifties are worse. It could be the Swifties taking over as the second biggest fan base, who don't even know about the sport of basketball.
More like league changer. Imagine a world where diehard music fans suddenly become basketball experts overnight. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what was about to happen to the WNBA. You've got these Swifties who just days ago couldn't tell a layup from a three-pointer. Now they're breaking down Clark's assist stats like they've been following the league for years. It's wild. One minute they're belting out Shake It Off. The next they're arguing about zone defense and pick and roll strategies. And get this, these fans are showing up to games with the most insane signs. We're talking full-on Taylor Swift lyrics mashed up with basketball puns. You belong with 3, and I knew you were trouble when you walked in the paint.
Because the Swifties have now joined up with the Caitlin Clark fans. People trying to unite the Swifties to like stop giving Angel Reese attention and let's start promoting Caitlin Clark.
It's like a crossover episode between ESPN and MTV, and everyone's here for it. But here's the kicker. It's not just about Clark anymore. These new fans are diving deep into the whole league. They're learning about every team, every player. They're asking questions, getting hyped about games that would have flown under the radar before. The energy in these arenas, off the charts. Now picture being Angel Reese in all this. You're watching your rival get all this attention out of nowhere. One day, you're the talk of the town. The next, you're competing with Clark and an entire army of pop music superfans. Talk about a plot twist. The WNBA's social media, absolutely exploding. We're talking engagement numbers they've never seen before. Posts that used to get a few hundred likes are now hitting thousands, tens of thousands. comment sections are blowing up with debates, discussions, and yes, a whole lot of Taylor Swift lyrics. Caitlin Clark's basically becoming the Taylor Swift of women's basketball. She's got this massive, dedicated fan base that's ready to go to bat for her at a moment's notice. They're watching every game, buying merch, spreading the word. It's like she unlocked some secret level of fame that nobody even knew existed in women's basketball. But hold up, because this fan invasion, it's stirring up some serious drama. You've got old school basketball fans side-eyeing these newbies. Some players are loving the attention, others are feeling left out. And the league, they're scrambling to figure out how to handle this sudden surge of interest. While the league was trying to wrangle this new fan frenzy, a blast from the past was about to shake things up even more. Picture this, a simple podcast interview turns into a full-blown pop culture war. How did Angel Reese go from basketball star to public enemy #1 in the blink of an eye? Let's rewind to that NCAA championship game. You remember Reese's taunt, right? She mimicked Clark's "you can't see me" gesture and pointed to her ring finger. At the time, it was just spicy on-court drama, but now it's come back to haunt her in a big way. Swifties, being the internet detectives they are, dug up that old clip. Suddenly, it's everywhere again. And let me tell you, they are not happy about it. They're flooding social media, calling Reese out for poor sportsmanship. It's like they've appointed themselves as the guardians of basketball etiquette. Now, Reese is trying to do her thing, focus on her game, but she's got this whole new army of haters breathing down her neck. Every move she makes is under a microscope. It's not just basketball fans watching anymore. It's millions of pop culture vultures waiting for her to slip up. And then Reese decides to have Kayla Nicole on her podcast. You know, Travis Kelce's ex? She probably thought it was a smart move, get some of that NFL buzz, but oh boy, did that backfire. Swifties saw it as a direct attack on Taylor. It's like Reese accidentally stepped on a landmine she didn't even know was there. The internet explodes. We're not talking about a little drama anymore. This is full-on culture war. Swifties are going after Reese like she insulted Taylor herself. Reese's supporters are firing back. It's chaos. Basketball forums, Twitter, TikTok, nowhere is safe from this showdown. You've got to understand, this isn't just about basketball anymore. It's become this weird mashup of sports, pop culture, and social media drama. The Clark versus Reese rivalry. It's not just for show anymore. It's turned into something way bigger, something neither of them could have seen coming. As if the drama wasn't already at fever pitch, the WNBA decided to weigh in, but their attempt to calm the waters backfired spectacularly. How did a league known for empowering women end up facing accusations of ignoring racism and hate from its very own stars? Picture this, the WNBA sitting on a goldmine of publicity. All eyes are on women's basketball like never before. You'd think they'd be jumping for joy, right? Well, not so fast. Enter WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, who's about to turn this golden opportunity into a PR nightmare. So Engelbert's on CNBC, and the interviewer asks her about all this drama. Easy question, right?
Here is the answer that the commissioner should have provided to the very clear question regarding the racism, misogyny, and harassment. There is absolutely no place for hate or racism of any kind in the WNBA or anywhere else. There is absolutely no place in sport or in life for the vile hate, racist language, homophobic comments, and misogynistic attacks.
Wrong. Instead of addressing the real issues, she starts talking about Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. In 1979? I'm not kidding. It's like she time traveled to the wrong decade. You've got to imagine WNBA players watching this interview, jaws on the floor. They're probably thinking,
well, Malika, there's no doubt about it. The players were disappointed in how Cathy Engelbert handled this moment.
On some social media channels to have taken a darker turn, a more menacing turn, where race has been introduced into the conversation.
Is she for real? Because let's face it, comparing the Clark-Reese rivalry to two NBA legends from over 40 years ago, that's not just missing the point, that's missing the entire basketball court. And you know what happens when you ignore the elephant in the room? It starts stomping around, making noise. That's exactly what went down. Stars like Breanna Stewart and Chelsea Gray weren't about to let this slide. They started speaking out, calling out the commissioner left and right. Stewart's basically saying, hey, this was your chance to shut down all the hate and you blew it. And Gray, she's pointing out that there's a big difference between a good old-fashioned rivalry and straight up racism.
Flat out that this racism, homophobia, misogyny that a lot of the players are experiencing is not okay.
Do sit at this intersection of culture and sport and fashion and music. Like, the WNBA players are really looked at now.
These players aren't just annoyed, they're furious. So now you've got this league that's supposed to be all about empowering women, and they're getting slammed for ignoring racism and hate. It's like they scored an own goal in the biggest game of the season. The disconnect between the league and its players, it's wider than the Grand Canyon at this point. But here's the thing, this controversy, it might just be the wake-up call women's basketball needed. Sometimes you've got to hit rock bottom before you can bounce back up. And with players speaking out and fans paying attention, change might be coming faster than a fast break. So, what just happened here? We've seen a whole sport flip on its head overnight, all because of some tweets and a pop star. It's wild. The WNBA is never gonna be the same after this. Clark and Reese, they're not just basketball rivals anymore. They're like the main characters in some crazy social media soap opera. And the Swifties? Who knew they'd become the new face of women's basketball fandom? It's like they've taken over the league without even touching a ball. But here's the real kicker. This drama's far from over. The WNBA's got some serious thinking to do about how they handle all this attention. Keep your eyes glued to this space, folks. The real game, it's just warming up. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.